Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Northwest Corner podcast. My name is Ethan Lyles. The Northwest Corner podcast is brought to you in part by Upstate Exposures magazine. We share the stories of the people, places, events, history, businesses, and music of the upstate of South Carolina. Always free to read. Subscribe today at upstateexposures.com. And we're live with the Northwest Corner podcast. We're broadcasting and recording here at USC Upstate in their awesome recording studio, which they're so nice to lend to us. And today we have an awesome guest today. It is Kylie Odetta. How are you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Once again, my name is Ethan Lyles. I am your host.
Yes.
So Kylie, what do you do?
What do? I make music.
You make music. What do you mean by that? Do you like Mark Ronson make music or more like Nora Jones make music?
Oh, I would say a little more like Nora Jones, but I play piano.
That's solid.
I sing. I write songs.
Nice.
So I've been playing piano since I was 6 and writing since I was 8. And it's, definitely been a journey since then.
Well, what were you writing songs like as an 8-year-old?
Okay, so my first song was actually about like love, and it was pretty
Aww.
Serious. It was called Let Your Heart Live to Be Free.
Do you still sing it?
I can sing a little bit of it.
Do you have it like written down somewhere?
Yeah, I have a bunch of old journals with all my old songs. But
is that going to be on an album?
No.
Why not?
My brother actually just texted me today and was like, "You need to revamp those old songs you wrote when you were younger." And I was like, maybe, but I just keep writing new ones, so I want to put those out naturally.
So how long have you been recording?
Since I was, have you guys heard of the reflections contest that like elementary schools and middle schools do?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a little in-school contest that they do, and they send to the state, and you can submit all different art forms. So technically, my first experience recording was when I was 9, downtown Greenville in a studio that used to be down there, and I would not sing for like an hour. My dad, he's musical as well, and he came with me, and he ended up having to sing first, and then they like played his voice back through a chipmunk like voiceover sound, and I started laughing and I stopped crying. I was just so nervous. I had never done anything like that. And then I finally sang in the recording studio. So that was
nice.
my first recording experience. But I recorded my first CD when I was 12.
Is that studio still there?
No, it's not anymore. I know. It's crazy.
So what prompted you to start like doing it professionally?
Yeah. It was actually my 6th grade talent show. It was my first time. I had performed in front of church once before, but then when I was 12 was when I first did that talent show, and I was so nervous. I used to have very, very bad stage fright, but I still did it anyways because I was like, I'm going to do it. And so I got off the stage, and it was terrifying and awkward, but awesome all at the same time. And I told my mom, I was like, I want to be a singer. And she was like, cool. Like, how do we do that? I was like, I have no clue. So we kind of have teamed together since that day and still work together now. And I started out doing like open mic nights and coffee shops and little stuff like that. But when I was 12 is really when I started. I was like, all right, let's go. All right. What do I got to do? Record CDs, play shows. Let's do this thing.
Awesome. So this is the Northwest Corner podcast, referring to the Northwest Corner in the upstate of South Carolina. Where are you from?
I am technically from Simpsonville, South Carolina.
And where do you claim, though?
I claim Greenville when I'm traveling. Yes.
All right. Fun. What part of Greenville did you, like, grow up in?
Well, technically sort of around an area called Five Forks.
Okay.
And, yeah, I grew up in the same house till I was 13.
Nice.
And then I moved, but stayed all in the same area.
Okay.
And as I've gotten older and obviously was able to drive, I ventured more into downtown Greenville and got to explore that area. So I love living in the upstate.
Nice. And we do record in Spartanburg. How much time do you spend around this area?
Well, I have spent lots of time here. Actually, my aunt, up until like 2 weeks ago, lived in Moore.
Okay.
South Carolina, which is really close to Spartanburg, technically Spartanburg. Mm-hmm. And so we would come and see her all the time, you know, throughout my life. And I have friends over here in Spartanburg. So, you know, obviously not as much as Greenville, but a pretty decent amount. I come here a good bit.
That's good. So you tour?
Yes.
Where?
Well, it depends on kind of the route we're taking.
Okay.
We usually try to we'll go out for a few days and then come back. And so we'll try wherever we're going out to. So like this past weekend, I went to Raleigh, North Carolina, and then Blacksburg, Virginia, which wasn't technically near each other, but
No, they're not.
but we try to stay like in the same region and create routes
that's cool.
like that. But
Blacksburg's beautiful though.
yeah, it was my first time there.
Really?
It was really
How'd
awesome.
you like it?
I liked it a
lot
lot.
of stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually playing a Steppin' Out festival, and
cool.
it had taken over the whole downtown, and we just kept walking and walking. I was like, oh my gosh, this place goes forever. And
Oh, yeah.
it was
It's a great college
awesome.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful college town.
And so, but last year I did my first month-long tour where I went out consistently and didn't come home.
How was that for the first time?
It was epic and awesome, but also you kind of feel disconnected from the world
How do you
after
mean?
a certain point. Because you're just out there going from show to show, living on the road, literally. And you, at first, you keep in touch with everyone back home, and then kind of like a week passes, 2 weeks pass, and maybe like you don't keep in touch with as many
Your
people.
snap
and-
streaks just start
Yeah.
disappearing and disappearing.
And then all of a sudden, you just like, I reached this point where I was like, I have no idea like what's really going on back home or what's going on in the world. I'm just, because you're out here, and each show you have to be so present to make the most of it, and engage with the people that are at that show.
What kind of venues were you doing?
A wide range. I tried to play venues that kind of had a crowd that was there to listen to music. Because at the time, I wasn't going on this tour because I already had a ton of fans in those areas.
Right.
I was kind of trying to connect and make fans and make friends in those areas so that I could go back later and there would be more people at the shows and stuff. And so I played, venues where I would open up for local artists who already had a crowd there to see them, or I would play like house concerts or coffee shops
Nice.
and things where people were there to hear music, whether it was me or someone else. And then we ended up getting to connect. But I played a record store, which was really cool. And
That's cool.
And I was opening
was
up,
that?
It was in Houston, Texas.
Oh wow! So this tour went.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Where does the extent of this tour go?
So this one I started in South Carolina. I went to Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, and Oklahoma, and then back to Texas, and then home.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long? So that was a month. A month.
long.
That's a lot of places to do in just 1 month.
Yeah. It was
that's
very
a
on the
lot.
go, but
Very.
it was so much fun, and it was cool because while I said, I was playing places where I didn't necessarily have fans, at each show there was at least one person who came specifically to see me, and I was like, I've never even been here, and there's this person here
That's awesome.
to see my music because they followed me online or something like that.
So was this to
And-
promote like a new album, or what was this?
It was in the same year that I released High Dreamer, which was my
That's-
second to last EP.
one of 2 albums that you have out right now.
Yes.
Are you working on anything soon or right now?
I am working on a lot of video content for the album that I just released,
Okay.
which is called Undertow. And so I have a lot of stuff going on with that. And I have a lot of singles that I'm working on. Because for the past few years, I've put out like complete projects of like 3 songs, 7 songs, 10 songs. So this next year, I'm kind of planning to put out like a song every few months or so and just
Nice.
kind of feel that out.
So what kind of so your style of music sort of sounds very jazz inspired.
Yeah.
I took a while to listen to it
Thank you.
this past week on Spotify. So whatever 0.027 cents you
I
got,
get.
yeah, you're welcome.
Much appreciated.
But it sounded very jazz inspired and very R&B inspired.
Yeah.
So a lot of rhythm and blues in that. What kind of artists specifically sort of did you not necessarily try and emulate?
Yeah.
But like draw inspiration from?
So I definitely over the past 2 years have come into a place where I feel very true to myself as an artist. Because I've been doing this since I was so young, I experimented with a lot of different genres.
Like
and,
what?
Oh gosh, like country.
Country?
Yep.
Well, I mean, when you're here, you gotta.
Exactly. So I did country, I did like super pop, kind of did a little bit of alternative stuff,
Okay.
Electronic, and then I've landed over the past 2 years because I listen to all sorts of music, but as I have kind of found what I enjoy, rather than just when you're growing up, you're listening to what your family enjoys, you're listening to what your friends like, and then you're like, what do I like? And I really dug into listening to a lot of like jazz piano, which I am not the most prolific piano player, but I love and get so inspired by, you know, prolific piano players, and specifically jazz pianists.
Like who?
Like Duke Ellington.
Nice.
I don't even know how to say his name.
That's a name I like to
Yeah.
hear. That's a name I like
I
to
love
hear.
him, and like I probably pronounced this wrong, but Thelonious Monk, if you've heard of him.
Yes, that is, I believe, the correct pronunciation.
So I love all those guys. And so I listened to a lot of that, and I found that while I couldn't necessarily play what they were playing, their music was starting to influence what I was writing. And then, you know, obviously what I was writing piano-wise was influencing what I was singing over it. And it just really, like, I found this sweet spot in my voice with that kind of more soulful, jazzy tone. And so I started to write songs like that. And I was just like, this just feels so good. And more artists that I listened to over the past years, like I love Corinne Bailey Rae, Andra Day, Leanne LaHavis.
Nice.
So all those people, and I like what you said, you know, I'm not trying to emulate them, but I very much so, like, that is the vein of music that I would like to be in, you know?
I mean, it's inspiration.
Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with that. People like, well, don't try and sound like somebody.
Yeah.
But like, definitely
Everything comes from somewhere.
Everything comes from
The
somewhere.
culmination
so
of all that
things
you
can
love
draw
and listen
from.
to. Yeah.
And listening to your music, even on the way here, I was like, well, I know she's very jazzy oriented, but there's still, like I said, like a lot of R&B in there. Even some hip hop.
Yeah.
Inspired
Probably got that
stuff.
from my brother.
Okay.
He listens
What
to
do
a
your
lot
brother
of hip
listen
hop.
to? How many siblings do you have?
I just have one brother.
One brother.
Yeah, he's older.
Older.
15 months older.
All right.
We're pretty close.
So what does he listen to? Does he listen to your music?
He does.
That's
He
good.
actually, sometimes he'll text me and he'll be like, I was just listening to your music and it brought a tear to my eye. And I'm like, oh. And so that my whole family's always been very supportive.
That's good.
So they do actually enjoy my music, and I believe they do because, you know, I see them listening to it and stuff, and they're not just, you know,
Do
fluffing
you listen
me
to
up.
your own music?
I do, actually. Not
Does
my
that
old
ever
stuff.
get? Oh,
As
what
much.
reaction does that get? Like if you're in your car and somebody gets in your car and they hear you listening to your own music.
Typically, I mean, I have some of my songs, like when they're in shuffle, I'm not going to skip them unless I'm in like not the right mood or something. But I feel like, you know, it's kind of funny. People make it out to be a bad thing that an artist would listen to their music, almost, that it's like, that's like conceited, or why would you listen to your own music or something? But, you know, if I'm not going to enjoy listening to it, why would other people?
Exactly. Make it for yourself.
And so I, you know, especially with these last two projects, Undertow and High Dreamer, that I've released, I, you know, specifically Undertow even more so, it puts me in a good mood. I love to sing it. I love to hear it. I don't listen to it all the time, but like if it comes on, I'm like, all right, let's go. This feels good.
I was listening to the album Undertow yesterday, and you said you did pop at one point.
Yeah.
There was definitely some of that in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, it's very, kind of melting pot of just a lot of different things. It's really cool to hear how you're influenced by all these other things, and you know, listening to some of your older stuff and how it's sort of changed.
Yeah, it's definitely
that's neat.
been an evolution. I would say.
And for, I'd say, a relatively, you know, new career, to see how it's already changing so much and all the different things that you've gone through. That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
So what inspires you to write the music that you do?
Ooh, life.
Yeah. How do you mean?
So over the years, I've written about things that, you know, actually happened to me or that I've actually gone through. But usually I'm a very good exaggerator.
Storyteller. That's good.
I usually take something that I'm feeling or going through, and then I kind of, you know, go to the dramatic end of that and make it into this song that, you know, hopefully other people can relate to. But I'm very inspired by the fact that we all go through different things, but we essentially all go through the same emotions. So no matter the situation, you know, we feel love, we feel anger, we feel sadness, we feel loneliness, you know, depending on the different situations, but we have those same emotions that we go through. And I feel like music is one of the only ways to connect through those emotions, in a way, whether your story is completely different. Someone can, like 5 different people can hear the same song, but all have this different story that pops into their head when they hear it. And so that concept has always been a curious one to me, and made me write things that I hope, that I personally connect with, and that I hope and other people can connect with too.
So what's like what do you find easier to write? Like
sad
happier songs or sad songs? Sad songs are harder to write or easier to
They're
write?
easier to write.
Easier to write?
Yeah, I have always written, it's always flowed out of me more easily when I'm sad or going through something, not necessarily like super sad, but it's just, I feel like for me, it's been easier to pull out and make those emotions dramatic. When I'm happy, I'm like, my family will joke about this. They're like, oh no, Kylie's happy. She's not going to be able to write for a while. But I think I've gotten better at it over the past 2 years, and I've been able to write and express happy emotions without it being cheesy, because that used to be my problem. Is I would be like, I don't want this, I want this song to feel good and sound happy, but I don't want it to be like hokey and cheesy.
But like happy music can sometimes like be a breath of fresh air. You don't hear it all that often. I know like a Colby Calais song came on the other day.
Her.
She's one of the most beautiful people on the face. She played in Spartanburg. This was one of the pop stations. They have a morning show, Hawk and Tom. Well, they had their acoustic concert one time here in Spartanburg, and Colby Calais, actually, Fall Out Boy, Patrick Stomp, Andy Grammer.
Nice.
But Colby Calais was there, and I was just like, I'm in love.
I know, she's fantastic. When I was younger, I think I was 15, Colby Calais and Gavin DeGraw came for Hawk and Tom's like Freedom Weekend Aloft, that big concert they did.
I remember. Okay, so let's talk about Freedom Weekend Aloft.
I got to open up for her there.
Nice. That was, they don't do it anymore.
I know, it's so sad.
It is sad. My first Freedom Weekend Aloft was a great show. It was Train.
Yes.
Need to Breathe.
Ooh.
Matchbox 20, or
they had
collective,
all of those?
Collective in one night. Train, Need to Breathe, Collective Soul.
Wow.
And to finish it up was Matchbox 20.
Wow.
Or maybe just Rob Thomas.
Yeah.
But he sang Matchbox 20 songs. And it was a great night.
I know. I love those. It used to we would go every year, and it used to feel like summer hadn't officially, it couldn't end until you went to Freedom Weekend Aloft, because it was kind of the middle of the summer, I can't remember if it was middle or start of summer, but anyways, that was when you knew it was like, okay.
And it sucks that it's shut down, but the circumstances, I mean, it was kind of sinister of how it all went down. What did you hear?
I heard that they were in debt.
So what the story I heard, and we can edit this out if this is not fact checkable. I don't know.
Is something happening on the screen there?
I don't know. Maybe recording has been stopped automatically. Oh well.
It looks like recording might have been stopped just for you guys out there.
on the
camera.
On the camera, but this is an audio podcast, so
Woo!
you'll be fine.
Go audio, yes.
You'll just have to envision us as being as beautiful as we are. But so what I had heard is the vendors, they were given the Freedom Weekend Aloft sold tickets, and you bought stuff from the vendors with these tickets, and then the vendors would then give these tickets to the people who ran it and get their money. Yeah. They were not given their money. And it was this whole big thing about how they had scammed all the vendors.
That's a good reason to be upset.
So that's why it doesn't exist anymore, from what I heard.
Yeah.
That's not an official.
Well, I guess that kind of aligns with them being in debt thing, because I guess they were in debt to all those people.
I think they had to pay back a lot of money. Yeah. But I don't know if that even touched what they actually stole. Yeah. Which sucks, because that was such a fun
it was so
music.
Fun.
Where was it? Was like Anderson or something like that?
No, it was Simpsonville, actually. It's the Charter Amphitheater.
Huh.
Which one did you go to?
Man, I only went to one, and it was like maybe.
Was it in it was like an outdoor amphitheater, right?
Big all outdoor.
Yeah, I think it's
stage.
definitely Simpsonville.
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. This was like maybe 06, like 05. Yeah. So it was a long time ago. But I just remember how awesome of a show that was. What was your first concert?
Oh, it was the Women of Country.
The Women of Country. Who were these Women of Country?
Okay, I don't remember all of them. But it was Sarah Evans. I think Leanne Womack.
Nice.
Who was that other girl? I think Reba McEntire was there.
Solid.
And there was another blonde one. I can't remember, but those are 3 of them. But yeah, it was 5. It was 5 of them that sang, and it was at the Butler Center. Well, which is now the Bon Secours Arena.
I don't call it that.
Me neither.
I don't. I refuse. Yeah, my first show was there too. I think a lot of our first concerts were probably there. I think mine was the Dixie Chicks.
Oh yes.
Which was.
How old were you?
I was young. I may have been in first grade, but this was
Me too.
This was like weeks, if not just a couple of weeks after they had blessed out George Bush. Oh. So it was like right when all that was going down. And it was great because I was like, yeah, social justice and like all this stuff. And
that's funny.
It was cool. It was a great concert. I still listen to them.
Yeah, they had that one. What's that really popular song of theirs?
To me, all of them. To me, all of them. You can't tell me what's the probably, I don't know. Goodbye Earls, that's one of my favorite karaoke songs.
I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, they were huge. And then didn't they break up?
They broke up. She did a solo thing a couple of years ago. They turned the other two became the Courtyard Hounds, who put out an album, very good album. Cool. And then she did an album, and they got back together recently. I think they're touring right now.
That's fantastic.
But yeah,
I always love a happy ending.
I love the Dixie. She had such a good voice, and she could belt it too. That's
one thing. I've never been a belter. I have a soft voice.
Man, she could.
I admire that.
Yeah, no, it was great. And she was a itty bitty little thing too. So you just hear this big voice coming out of this tiny person. You're just like, whoa. But yeah, I love the Dixie Chicks. Who's your favorite band?
Oh gosh.
Is that an unfair question?
Yes.
Name a couple then.
Okay, I'll name a couple. Well, I'll just say this. I went to a Vance Joy concert last year and I cried 7 times.
Count them 7.
Yes. And I got to meet him and I cried after I met him.
8.
So that I will just leave that there, as he's probably one of my
recent album
top
was great.
Favorites. Yeah. I think the reason that I cried, I don't know, I'm an emotional person.
Okay.
But no, I had been a fan of his for a long time. And then, you know how artists, when they tour an album, they, play all the songs off of it. And then when they release another one, they play a few from the previous album, but they don't always play that same set.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't be able to hear that full album set live ever again. You would hear a few, but not the whole thing. And so I had missed already 2 opportunities to see him that year. I had a show of my own.
Now, was this the Riptide album?
Yes. It was the Dream Your Life Away.
Dream Your Life Away.
And then the second show I was gonna get tickets for, I had my tonsils taken out the day before. So I was like, I was still gonna go. My mom's like, you cannot go.
Try and stop me.
And so I didn't go to that, and I was so upset. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna see him perform this whole album, and I just love it so much. And then he, in December, announced that he was doing a Fire in the Flood tour, which was a single he announced, and he was gonna be playing the whole Dream Your Life Away album. Nice. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go. It was like a year away from when he announced it, and I bought my tickets that day. I was like, I am going to this show. So, I had a lot of anticipation built up. It was in Atlanta, Georgia, the Tabernacle.
Oh my God. What a
beautiful venue.
Great venue.
I had never been to a show there before.
It's wonderful.
It was amazing.
It's like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the Ryman.
Yeah.
Kind of like it, like an old church.
Yes.
Kind of.
It was beautiful. Yeah. And so I bought tickets. I got my friend to go with me. The time finally came. And then I actually, I had post-concert depression afterwards. This was so serious for me. And I think it was because it was just so inspiring to see every time I go to a concert, I'm inspired to see another artist living out their dream. And so I kind of pictured myself on the stage, and also he's just super cute. And I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. And
fangirl. And
I was fangirling because I haven't really fangirled over many people, but for him I did. And so I was just like, I love you. And we waited by his tour bus afterwards. The show was amazing. He was incredible. And everyone just sang at the top of their lungs.
Now,
the crowd.
Is the show more of just a him singing, or is it
he had a full band? It was just him singing. He had some cool lights behind him, and he had a big banner that changed visuals that said Vance Joy, but it was just more about the music. It wasn't a production, which I loved. Well,
sometimes those shows are great.
Yes, I'm not discounting them, but I think there's a special beauty to both.
I.e. Garth Brooks. Yeah, listeners, if you ever get the chance to go to a Garth Brooks concert, go to a Garth Brooks concert. You'll never, ever... It's an experience. It's just like, yeah, entertainment
That's awesome.
at its peak. But
That's awesome.
That'll do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Ethan Lyles. Please tune in again for more of the Northwest Corner podcast next week.